Hi everyone, I'm Laura Godenik. I'm an astrologer and a therapist, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of July 13th through the 26th, 2026. I am a couple days late on this video, so I apologize. I will briefly go over what we missed because you will likely be still feeling the effects of those aspects. And then the next fortnight really contains a lot of outer planetary shifts and transits. So let's get started. So July 13th, which was Monday, we had Venus in Virgo making a square to Uranus in Gemini. This might have created a bit of upsets in relationships. Venus is a planet about relationships and as well as pleasure and joy and what you do for fun. Uranus is like kind of like surprise, outside of the box thinking, but also can be ups and downs, a little bit chaotic, and it can bring a sense of instability to relationships. And you might have felt that the day before. You could even still be feeling it a little bit today. And so it could feel a little bit up and down with relationships, a little bit chaotic. And really there's a need here around needing to change something. Uranus does kind of make us think differently or make us have to step outside of the box and do something differently. And it can be a little bit like you're standing on unstable ground. It could also have to do with other relationships like friendships or style, the way you express yourself. This might be a time where you're wanting to express yourself a little bit more than maybe you normally do. Although I will say Venus in Virgo is not the most flamboyant or spontaneous necessarily, or expressive. Virgo is more of a humble sign, a little bit more liking to be in the background, working behind the scenes on stuff. So it's not maybe as loud as it might be if Venus were in a fire sign, for instance. So, and you might also be reflecting on your values. Venus does represent values, and do they need to change or shift, or are you living authentically? That is Uranus. Uranus is a planet about authenticity in conjunction with your values. That's a question that it might be good to reflect on. Is the way that you present yourself and express yourself in congruency with your values? So those are some questions to think about. Yesterday, Tuesday, July 14th, we had a new moon in Cancer. This was squaring Saturn by sign, and also while Mercury retrograde is happening in the sign of Cancer. So new moons are about new beginnings. But with this Mercury retrograde happening in this sign, there's a review process going on in this area of life, a reflective process. So this might be a new beginning that first involves some review or reflection or going back over something. And it might take a little bit of time for this new start to begin, but it might be more of a new start or new beginning that first starts with just thinking about something, thinking about how you might want to do something differently, or thinking about details that you might have missed, and that you can't really start this new thing until you go back over the fine print, go back over the nitty-gritty, which is what Mercury retrograde is inviting us to do. The square to Saturn, a planet about responsibility, commitment, hard work, indicates that this new beginning must involve taking responsibility. It must involve making a commitment, maybe doing the responsible thing, or thinking about the long term. Saturn is a planet that wants us to think about sustainability, about how we're gonna make it to the next whatever it is, the landmark, etc. So there is a feeling of cautiousness, of wanting to plan ahead with this new moon square Saturn. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some feelings of heaviness or weightiness, potentially depression, if that's something you struggle with on yesterday, the day before even, because Saturn can bring this something feels heavy. The good news is that it passes, however. For instance, the moon is now in Leo, so we're a little bit past that heaviness. Okay, so Wednesday the 15th, that's today, we have Uranus making a sextile to Neptune. Uranus is in Gemini, Neptune is in Aries. This is especially important for people who have planets in Aries and Gemini, because that's where these two planets are. So these are outer planet transits. So they might, they're not going to be necessarily as loud or significant unless planets are also, like the inner planets are also aspecting these planets. So if the Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, if these planets were making an aspect to the outer planets at the same time as the outer planets making an aspect to each other, that's more significant. So I'm going to kind of pass over it, but essentially this is more about a systemic shift, a cultural shift that's taking place by and large over years, not necessarily one day. And these planets will probably pass over each other again. But essentially the gist is that we're dreaming a new dream and being innovative in the ways that we dream. So Friday the 17th, Uranus then makes a trine to Pluto. Once again, outer planets, especially big for Gemini people and Aquarius people, because Uranus is in Gemini, Pluto is in Aquarius. And once again, I would say, generally speaking, this is about going deep and uncovering Pluto, things, ideas, whatever it is, in new and innovative ways, or making changes and innovations, Uranus, to the things that we discover from deep analysis, Pluto. So that, once again, that's not only kind of the theme for just Friday the 17th, that's just so happens when these planets make the exact aspect, but more so you'll be noticing these themes throughout the year at various times when the other inner planets make aspects to these outer planets. Sunday the 19th, Mars makes a sextile to Saturn. Mars is our energy, how we take action, how we do things. Saturn, once again, is about responsibility, longevity, sustainability, hard work. So this is really a time to get things done, pull through, be disciplined. It's the two, Mars is the gas, Saturn is the brakes. If you're thinking about a car, Mars wants to go, go, go. It gives us that energy, but Saturn gives us that sustained quality and the thinking ahead quality. So that's happening on the 19th. Good day, once again, to get things done, be productive, pull through on some of the goals that you might have. Monday the 20th, we have Jupiter and Leo making a trine to Neptune and Aries. These are two very inspiring planets, or inspiration-based planets. Jupiter is about faith, belief, hope, optimism, and Neptune is about spirituality, mysticism, that which we can feel but we might not be able to see. It's the intangible. This really gives a really strong sense of inspiration, hope, belief, believing that we can achieve the unachievable. It's like our north guiding star. On the same day, interestingly enough, Jupiter actually opposes Pluto, which indicates a deep transformation of belief. Pluto is about deep transformation, deep uncovering, whatever has been unconscious. Jupiter is beliefs. It could be about having newfound powerful beliefs as well. Newfound powerful commitments to a philosophy or a faith of some kind. And once again, you'll probably notice this you're probably noticing it a little bit now as well, as Jupiter makes this opposition to Pluto quite slowly. It's a little bit more of a slower planet. And you'll notice it a couple of days after as well, or weeks even. Tuesday the 21st, Jupiter in Leo makes a sextile to Uranus in Gemini. This is about freeing ourselves. So it's all happening at once. Like Jupiter's making a trine to Neptune, an opposition to Pluto, and a sextile to Uranus. You can really see how close these outer planets are to each other. And Jupiter is an inner planet that is aspecting and kind of igniting these outer planets. And so, yeah, Jupiter sextile Uranus brings this quality of being free, of newfound freedom through your newfound beliefs that you just dug really deep down to discover or to commit to, or discovering truth of some kind. Right now we can feel more free in who we are, potentially. Wednesday the 22nd, the sun heads into Leo. It's Leo season, different energy, a little bit more extroverted, a little bit more showy, look at me, I'm in the spotlight, not afraid to be seen, vocal, maybe creative. These are all kind of fire sign qualities. And of course, as the sun heads into Leo, we'll be shining a light of consciousness, that is the sun, onto this new area of life. So it might be also time to shift focus away from Cancer things, although we're still having a Mercury retrograde there, so still focus there, but also in addition, Leo themes, whatever house that is for you in your chart. Thursday the 23rd, that is when Mercury stations direct at 16 degrees of Cancer. Whenever there's a station direct with Mercury, it's really a good time to slow down because Mercury has way slowed down. And good time to reflect, think, double check things, integrate. You're kind of integrating this journey that you've just been on with Mercury having been retrograde in Cancer in this part of your chart. And so it's a good time to kind of harvest, reflect, journal, write. How do you want to move forward? What feels more true to you emotionally? Cancer is a very emotional sign. It's tied to what feels safe and as well as true and good and nurturing, right? So there's something that we've been needing to reflect on and do a little bit differently in this area of life. Friday the 24th, Pluto makes a sextile to Neptune, outer planet, transit going on. Generally speaking, actually, I think I'm not going to speak to that. Just know that that's happening. It's kind of like deep dive Pluto into new dreams or new visions. Neptune could feel maybe like an intensity around that, an intensity around this new dream or vision, and not being willing to, like, I will do this at all costs. I will make this happen, this new dream, this new vision happen. It must happen. There can be that intensity, which is what Pluto brings. Venus sextiles Mercury, really lovely day to send messages to people, sing songs, write poetry, be creative, tell people you love them. Venus is the planet of love and Mercury is the mind. Mercury is communication. And so great day to connect with people, really. And then Sunday the 26th, Saturn stations retrograde at 14 degrees of Aries. This happens pretty regularly. Saturn will be retrograde for several months, I believe like 5 or 6 months, so not the biggest deal. So just something to note, the North and South node shift into new signs. The North node goes into Aquarius and the South node heads into Leo. We're going to be starting to have eclipses in these two signs. We still have one more eclipse in Virgo in February, I believe. So we're not quite done with the Pisces Virgo eclipses yet. But there's some overlap that's been happening. And so now, we'll be having we'll have an eclipse in Leo in August, which I'll talk more about in the next video. So that is the astrology for the next couple weeks. I am available for readings. If you are curious about how this astrology impacts you more specifically, as well as larger themes and cycles that you're going through, I would love to connect. You can reach me. You can comment in this video. You can reach me at consultation@lauragenetic.com. Please like, subscribe, comment. Love hearing how this lands. I am trying to grow this channel over time and would love to hear from you. So that's it for now. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with the next astrological update, and I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks. Take care.